just finished a call with one of the editors from willportal.com, and he actually told me how he is a little bit concerned with the rise of artificial intelligence and the quality of the articles that AI is writing, and how many of the big companies right now are all using AI to create these articles. And for me personally, guys, I'm very not concerned of this at all. And I actually told him that I think that the value that he is offering as a human being is going to be worth so much in the future with the rise of AI. I think human written text or human created content will increase in value because more and more people will start to become a little bit lazy and start to use AI to create their content. But me personally, when I'm reading articles on the internet or when you're seeing content, you always feel inside of you whether it is authentic or not, whether it is a human written article or not. And maybe sometimes going to be very difficult, but if it's very difficult to distinguish already if it's human written or AI written, then for me personally it's not a good article to begin with. I think the content that is created by humans will definitely increase in popularity in the future, and the intuition that we have as human beings in order to discern or in order to select the content that we are watching is actually authentic or is created, generated by artificial intelligence, that intuition within us will increase too. So I really believe, guys, we have to stick to our authenticity, because this will become so valuable in the future. But of course, I get me completely wrong on this, but I already feel it right now. Like when I read an article and I have the feeling that it's written by a human who has a very deep understanding about the subject that I'm reading from, this is touching something within me. And it's the same with books. If things are AI generated, there is no soul, there's no heart in it, and it will never resemble the same value as something that is human written. And I'm not saying to not use AI, because of course many people use AI. It's good for many functions, but for true authenticity, human value, it simply cannot do that. It just simply cannot replicate the creation value that humans have within themselves. But did you know you're actually watching an AI generated model, right? Authenticity is becoming a, what do you call it, currency. Authenticity is becoming a currency in the future. Mark my words. If you want to start a business, it will take a lot of time. When I started my YouTube channel, my crypto YouTube channel, I actually had no clue when I was starting how I would generate any income. I didn't even knew like YouTube AdSense was a thing. The only thing that I thought, like, okay, maybe there could be somewhat of sponsored videos or whatnot, but I knew that there should be a way to generate money with it along the way. But if you want to start a business from scratch, you really have to be patient, because the starting process is very, very slow. So sometimes you can compare it a little bit with the runway of a airplane. This is how I see it. So when the airplane has to get ready, it takes some time, right? Then it slowly is accelerating on the runway, building up momentum, and then suddenly it's taking off. And then once it takes off, it really, and this you can, for example, see with scaling. Once your business takes off, it's easier to multiply, rather than when you are still in that early phase where you are building momentum. So if any of you want to start a new business, you actually have to have that vision, determination, and patience, because the vision is you have to know where you want to go. The determination is that you actually, you don't stop, right? You build that momentum and you don't stop, because if the plane like halfway stops, you see the momentum is still very low, but it's halfway through. So it just has to do another time that half, and then the momentum and results would be way more visible. And patience is of course a very important one, because you don't know when you will get any results, the results that you are aiming for. I remember when I started that YouTube channel, I was creating videos on a daily basis, and before I ever earned my first dollar from the channel, it actually took 1 year, like almost 1 year. I don't know the exact amount of time, but I know that I almost worked 1 year every single day, reading, developing myself, trying to get this new skill set and creating these videos. And roughly after 1 year, income started to come, and that was actually the moment that things actually can start to build up. And was it worth it? It's 100% worth it. I would actually say for most people it's pretty weird that you would not invest that amount of time and you would not bet on yourself like that, because what is the alternative? For me, the alternative was always working an office job or something. I've been working many different jobs. I've been working in call centers, I've been working in hotels. And for me, the problem was always with these jobs that I would be stuck to a certain schedule, so it would limit my freedom, right? So that was my main motivation of starting a YouTube channel, because when I have a YouTube channel, or when I can work from anywhere around the world, right? But I actually didn't realize that it was still a lot of hard work. It's not something that you really do on the side. You can start it on the side, that is definitely possible, but once your momentum starts to build up, you definitely want to create a full-time occupation out of it if you want to keep that momentum, I think. At least that's how it worked for me back then. But of course, this is also only the path that I've been seeing. Many other creators have been walking different paths, and everything is possible as long as you have the vision, the determination, and the patience. Those are the 3 key things when you want to start an own business. And accept the time and see it as a fun period too, because when your business does get better and you do get money and those things become more normal, you look back on these old days when you were starting and building that momentum and learning everything. You look back at these old days as a very beautiful period, a very clean and pure period where you were kind of like a kid trying to play on the playground and trying to find your way in this world, having all these dreams. And then later, when some of these dreams come to fruition, looking back on that early time is just such a beautiful blessing. So have fun in the process. So also with other projects that I'm doing, I know that you gotta work, especially in the beginning, for a very long time without seeing any results in the form of income. Might not always be the case, but generally from my personal experience, it is the case. But this also gives you a little bit of, this will help you to stick with that project that you want to do, because sometimes you will have days that you will feel like it will not become any success, right? And sometimes you have these days where you feel like, man, the success will hit so hard tomorrow or very soon. But these are very emotional waves, and once you recognize that you go through these phases of very optimistic, it's similar like when you're on the financial markets, very optimistic to a little bit pessimistic to sometimes even completely not believing in your idea anymore. You'll just know that you just have to stick through it, because these emotional swings are part of the process. And this might also be, guys, the reason why so many people quit on their own ideas and their own business, because they are the airplane on that lane, on the, how do you call it, the highway for the airplane. They are starting the airplane, they are going, and they are going through these swings, and then one of these lower swings, they will basically swing them out of their belief that it actually can work, while they're actually sometimes already quite far in the process. Sometimes it's just a matter of sticking through. Like I said with my YouTube channel earlier, like in the beginning, it was going so slow. I remember to get the first 100 subscribers, it took so long. And then from 100 to 200, it took a little bit shorter. But in those times, I was actually learning and I just stick through it, and then suddenly these things doubled, these things doubled, these things doubled, and things went a little bit faster. But it's so important to stick with yourself through these early times, because these early times you will have to kind of walk in faith, not by sight, because you will not see any results. But you have to know that in the background, in the invisible world, your momentum is already building. In the metaphysical world, maybe that's better stated, your momentum is already building. So every hour that you work for your own business, that you are betting on yourself, that you do with a pure intention to grow and an open heart, it is never wasted. That hour, every hour, even if you don't see it directly, you will be paid. Sooner or later, you will be paid by the work that you have done. It might take 1 year, it might even take 2 years, might even take longer, but it might even take way shorter. But there will come a moment that your work will pay off. Guys, look at my new pool. This pool, I think this is the cheapest pool that ever has been built, because this pool was, if you can call it a pool, I call it a pool. It was 13 euro. Often people, when they ask you what you do, and you say like, yeah, I work with crypto, build like websites, build like tools for traders, I have a YouTube channel, create content, everyone always directly assumes that you first of all have a lot of money, and second of all they assumed that you got that money easy, because they just have these stories in their minds where they read in the newspaper, one guy made $1 million with buying a meme token of $100, but it's really not the case. I think working in crypto, I always make this joke, like you give away your 9 to 5, right? You give up your 9 to 5, but you start 24/7. It's not stopping at 5 o'clock. It is actually never stopping. And the emotional state of the markets, I think this is such a big challenge for many traders, investors, and people that are in crypto in general. Because even though you are not depending on your investments, even though, while you're in crypto, you probably are, right? But even though you are not dependent on the swings, which can already bring huge emotional swings in your life too, you are connected with the market and with the market participants. And for example, as a content creator, I can always clearly see how the market is feeling in the comment section below the video, because many people, when markets are going down for quite a while, it's very understandable, don't get me wrong, it's very understandable, but that doesn't make it more easy. So I also feel that one of the tasks for me is to just keep the mood good, keep the good mood when the days are red, because a lot of people might sell on the red days because they forget how it feels, or that the green days are coming. But yeah, I always remember, because like I just said, like you trade your 9 to 5 for 24/7, right? It's more of a lifestyle than a job. It's not like you work in a factory, you go there at 9 o'clock in the morning, you off at 5 o'clock, the rest of the evening you do some Netflix, you have some food and you sleep. You don't think about work until the next day. No, that is definitely not the case. You have to plan these breaks for yourself. You have to put certain time slots in place where you said like, okay, right now I'm not going to watch the charts for 1 week. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a rest for my body, right? But the main advantage that brought me to crypto, the biggest thing that really drew me to crypto, is the freedom that it gives. You can live quite good outside of the system. Once money flows, money can actually flow abundantly. Crypto is definitely a way where money can flow abundantly. It's easy to make contacts, and it's very easy to work remotely. It's very easy to be location independent, and sometimes it's even easier, because if you go to these other places, for example in Southeast Asia, I've been traveling there for a couple of years, and everyone is just working there with crypto. And you see that with dropshipping too, like many dropshippers, many online entrepreneurs, people who work online, but that's also many crypto bros, so to say. So your tribe, let's say it like that, the people that are active in crypto, many of them are actually in these big digital nomad spots like Bali or Thailand and stuff like that. And that can be very nice because the cost of living there is, of course, a little bit lower. And having all these like-minded people in a similar environment can be a very nice experience. But yeah, guys, that was always my biggest reason for crypto. It was directly all the freedom that it brings. And it brings a lot of freedom, and it brings more freedom than, for example, when you still really function in the regular system, like, for example, with drop shipping, right? Crypto definitely still provides more freedom. There are always workarounds also with other sectors like dropshipping, but nothing comes close to crypto, because crypto, you can, at least for now or in the last 10 years, you can really you could potentially completely build a structure that is outside of the regular system. If you want to get noticed by Google, listen to this, because the way that Google structures their way of ranking websites number one on their Google page is actually very interesting. And the structure that they are using is actually a structure that every business should use. So what they generally do is they check your topical authority, right? And topical authority can be what kind of a topic have you written a lot about? Like, how much does this website know about this specific topic? And then per topic, you can score higher. And then you have something that is called a pillar post. And a pillar post or a pillar article or a pillar page, that is a page that will generate leads from your website. So that can be a funnel, that can be the page where your product is described, that can be different pages. But you want to make one pillar page, and that page you want to make a killer page too. So you want to have that very much optimized, have the good writings, good everything should be very much optimized on that page. And then you are going to write about this page in different pages. So on other pages, you are going to become more in depth about this specific subject. And then from these other pages, you all link and refer back to that one pillar page. And that's how Google is going to value that one pillar page more and more and more and more. And this is basically how you can create authority for that one page, and you can actually compete with websites that have way higher domain ratings than you, businesses that are way more established than you, because you create your topical authority. And I actually not really sure if it's smart for me to explain this, because it took a while for me to figure this stuff out by myself. But this is also how it works with a normal business. So if you have a normal business, right, you have one service, and one service maybe gets you 20% of all the revenue, right? Or maybe one product gives you 80% of all the revenue. Sometimes some businesses are like that, right? You can see, for example, like a gas station, right? They generally sell gas, but they have all these other products as well, which is just something on the side. I'm not exactly sure about the numbers for the gas station, but what I do know is that many businesses, they have one main business, one main thing where they generate leads, where most of the income is coming from. And then they have these smaller things that actually help them to get in clients to eventually do the thing that makes the most money or generates the biggest leads, right? But they have all of these things around it, the services around it, they all come back to this pillar post, to the pillar service that the company is offering. So you can see it on YouTube channels too. So the monetization from a crypto YouTube channel is mostly affiliate links that are placed in the description. And you can see that the video creation is also built around these affiliate links. So for example, there is one tutorial that a creator created that is a high value video. He put a lot of time and effort in it to create that video. And then in his daily videos, for example, he will refer back to that better or tutorial video, because that tutorial video is actually a video that can generate leads. It can help him bring in some numbers for the exchange, right? instead of the daily videos, but this is just one of the examples that I have, but there are many examples out there. So maybe a cheese shop, they are selling very cheap eggs or very cheap nuts, for example, so they get the customers in through these discounts on the eggs, on the nuts, and then hopefully the customer will eventually, when they get into the shop, they will buy some cheese too. But the main product is cheese. The whole shop is only about cheese. Then I'm also wondering, because the friend and editor that I'm working with, who had shared his concerns with me about AI taking over the editor industry, and I was a bit like, I don't think that's the case, because human products are going to become so valuable in the future. Many people, they are going to choose for the easy road. It's going to be more and more difficult to create something that is purely human generated, and I think that the intuitions of people also is going to develop, because we have so much fake or AI, so much artificial generated content, or we're living in an artificial world. We have a survival mechanism within ourselves that has to grow, develop, which is our intuition, which will be able on a feeling base to look whether something is organic or whether something is artificial. And the human created products, especially human created content, will become, I believe personally, more and more valuable, even though there can be some mistakes, spelling mistakes, for example, in human-generated content. I even think that the advantage goes to the human-generated content, because we develop that inner feeling and inner knowing, and eventually humans are always looking for a connection. And that will probably only increase, because we've lost already so much of our connection with each other in the past 10, 20 years. Since the whole internet actually already came up, we got so much more connected to each other, like finds like, but we also got so much more disconnected from each other, because many people are not willing to look or to feel their inner world, and they are looking for distractions, and therefore they are just scrolling on social media. And I'm not judging, because I'm doing it myself as well, but this is not a sustainable way that we can go on for the next 100 years, for example. So there has to change something, and that human connection has to come back. The real authenticity of humans has to come back, has to develop. And I think the people that are focusing on this part of themselves, their own spiritual part, their authenticity, once that grows, it doesn't really matter what industry you work in, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you will thrive in the future, because this is going to be a very scarce asset in the future, as most people are going to lose their authenticity to artificial generated products and content and distractions.